welcome back guys. On this episode, some friendly fish come and see me, and one not very friendly fish that makes me have to jump in to check what damage he's done, and my first foreign boat party. When I left you on the last episode, I'd spotted a fin. I couldn't tell if it was a killer whale or a dolphin, but it was these little beauties that come to say hello. Yeah. Got a new friend, boat friend. His name's Keith. He's ex-para. Really nice guy. He's originally from Wales. He's actually got apartments down in Portugal, the Algarve. So he sailed from the UK. His little boat's from Plymouth. He's this following. Really cute little boat. I think made in the 70s. So yeah, we just kind of sailed down together to the last place, which is great because with my engine troubles I knew that someone was there, and we're sort of going to mooch on down to the next place. So yeah, it's nice to sort of have a bit of company in the odd place here and there, a glass of wine in the cockpit at night. It's lovely. Finally got the engine off. It's been 7 hours. I was hoping that this wind would have been here a couple of hours ago, but better late than never. So I got full main, full head sail, cruising nicely, 5.5, 6 knots. That'll do me. It's due to pick up. I might end up having to actually reef at some point, but I'm quite happy just sitting here at 5.5 for the time being. Just nice to have the engine off. This part of the sailing I just really enjoy, just the peace, the quiet. I am getting a bit of flogging from the sails now and then when you come down a wave. It's not, you know, it's not enough wind to totally fill them, but I don't care. It's just that I don't mind. It's just so peaceful, and I'm chugging along nicely, 5 knots, and it's just nice not having that engine on. It's so nice not having the engine on. And you know, having those dolphins earlier, that was pretty special. There was a lot of them. There was probably about 15 in that pod. I got on the radio to Keith behind me, way in the distance. Told him just to keep a lookout. They might come to have a play of his boat, and they did, luckily. So he's had a nice little experience as well today. It's been lovely. I've still got probably about 4 more hours on passage, I'd say. Again, I was expecting a lot more wind right now, so it could, my passage plan's going to be a little bit out. It doesn't really matter. Still have plenty of light at the other end to get into the marina. So there we go, making progress. I think I will try and head for Peniche tomorrow. It's about 10 miles less than the trip today, so a couple of hours less. And the wind is lighter, but it's lighter than what it's going to be, well, in a couple of hours anyway. It's meant to pick up to 20 knots in a bit, but it's more, it looks more steady through the day, so I'll probably just use that and plod along down to Peniche. If I get to Peniche, the next jump is going to be right next to Lisbon. I'm not going to go into Lisbon. I might go into Lisbon to have a little look round, but it's not a place that I'm really worried about looking at. But to get down to Lisbon is you know, that's most of it done. From there it's going to be pretty much the Algarve, or close to the Algarve. So you know, I feel like I'm actually progressing now, which is nice. Pizza for lunch. Oh. Killer whale Going for my rudder. Yeah, if you make your way here, just in case I need you. For what looked like just a juvenile killer whale, this thing was really strong. He wasn't giving up on my rudder, and he actually managed to spin my boat a few times. So right now I'm being attacked by a killer whale. Brilliant. Those noises you just heard was the whale smashing the rudder against the stop, which I later found out has knocked it a little bit out of alignment. Really going for this. Feel him pushing this whoa. So this guy's just spun my boat around. He's not giving up. He's really not giving up. I think he's going to snap my rudder off. I just tried to get towards land and he's just not letting me. Just spun my boat. I've dropped my sails, as they've said to do. Try to get onto the coast guard just in case I need help. He's just stalking me. Oh. I think he's gone. I feel like I've still got steerage. I've just put my head sail up. Just going to try and get in shallow water and just hug the coast round to the marina, and then I might have to get the boat hauled out, see how much damage it's done. I can't believe that. Honestly can't believe that. It's going to happen at some point, I suppose. Might be the first time. Every time I hear a wave crash, I think it's a blowhole. To say that I'm a bit concerned is an understatement. I'm hoping he's gone. It's going to take me about half hour to get into shallow enough water that I don't really have to worry, but unbelievable. Every little splash, like every wave that breaks nearby, any little splash off of the boat, I keep thinking it's an orca breaching. Every little judder, I feel like it's hitting my boat. It's just a horrible feeling. I've come in, I'm fairly, see, that's another little judder there, and it didn't feel like a wave, that felt like something was hitting me. I'm fairly close to land. I'm in 16 meters of water. I've heard that tuna don't really come in shallower than 20, and if tuna's not here, then hopefully the killer whales aren't here. But if anyone knows any different to that, can you please leave a comment so I can hug the land. I just don't want to get too much closer, firstly because I've got to get around a headland that's just up ahead of me, and it's kind of the quickest route, and I don't want to run out of daylight to get into this marina. I'm already kind of cutting it fine now that I've lost quite a bit of time. I was making good time and I've lost a load of time now, so it's a horrible feeling when something happens to your boat like that, and you know, because it's a wild animal, you don't know where it is, you're at the mercy of this animal. It's just horrible. If you saw in one of my previous episodes, I've fitted a hydrovane to the back of the boat. That's got its own independent rudder system. I wanted it for two reasons. Firstly, because it's totally mechanical, so there's no drain on the battery as a self-steering unit. Secondly, more importantly around here, it's where it's got its own independent rudder system, is if the Orca did take a rudder off, my rudder off, I've got a bit of an emergency to get me into a marina. I was looking at the hydrovane today thinking it'd be perfect conditions, perfect time today just to try it out, because I've not actually used it yet. And I'm so glad I didn't, because the first thing that Orca would have taken would have been the hydrovane rudder, and it probably would have bent the whole thing and quite possibly even snapped it off the back of the boat. That thing was crazy strong. So yeah, I'm definitely not using that hydrovane until I'm either A, in the med if there's requirement, or B, on my first passage, big passage again, which will be down to the Canaries, I'd imagine. Still in a bit of awe of what's just happened. That's crazy. I'm in, kind of. I'm on the fuel dock. Come to the fuel dock first and check in, and then I'm going over there to put her to bed, and then go out for food and a much needed pint. I'm in my space. It's a very small space. Keith next door, so the boat that you saw in the very distance all day, that's that amazing little boat. I can't remember what it is, but I love it. So he helped me in, and unfortunately, as he was tying up my line, you didn't notice that the bow had come around, and he stood up into my anchor, just cut his head open quite bad. So I feel like I owe him a beer. However, he gave me a beer. I've had a beer, time to unwind from what has been a very crazy stressful day. But I'm in, packing the boat up, got some fuel, so I'm all fueled up again. Paid for one night, but I think I'm going to do 2 nights. I'm in no hurry to leave tomorrow, because I think I'm going to have quite a few drinks tonight, get the boat reset, and then head down to Peniche on Sunday. Should have some wind then. Be interesting trying to get out of this space though. Awfully tight. The next morning it was time to throw some gear on, jump off the back of my boat, go see if that pesky fish had done any damage. If only I knew a diver. Good. Hey. Okay, good news. Run my hand up the trailing edge, run my hand up the leading edge. No chunks missing. Put that to GoPro. I couldn't film this bit because I needed 2 hands, but I give the rudder a shake. No more play in there. So I think I got away with that. So that's just turned into a cool encounter as opposed to a killer whale attack. Nice. Right, I'm going to hose myself down because that water is not the cleanest. This is why I wanted to do it in an anchorage in Peniche, but I can't go from here to Peniche. You know, if there was a bit missing out of my rudder, I would have had to get pulled out here, but I'm happy. Right, on with the day. Yeah, I'm happy. I was expecting to see a chunk missing off that, or at least teeth marks or something, but as you saw, I think we're good. The visibility wasn't the best, again, as you saw, so I'll wait till I'm in an anchorage with nice clear water and I can jump in and have a proper look over it. But yeah, it has changed it from, you know, doom and gloom. I've been hit by an Orca too. That was a pretty cool encounter. Well, say cool, it wasn't cool in the fact that these things are doing a lot of damage to boats. I saw a video of an amel and you know, twin rudders, and both rudders were stubs when they got pulled out of the water. So these things are doing a lot of damage. Nothing can be done, you know, it's their habitat, it's their home. I just hope that we don't get these vigilante type people who think, well, you know, let's go and stop these killer whales from doing it. So, you know, what can you do? Laundry time. Have a little mooch around Fig Foz. Figuera de Foz. Fig Foz. Good morning. Time to leave Fizzfog, head down to Peniche. If anything happens on the way down, the bailout is Nazaré. I'd love to go back to Nazaré. I've been there before. Beautiful little village, but Peniche is the aim. So we're up. Keith's ready. Morning, Keith.
Morning, boys. How you doing?
So me and Aquila are going to head out together again. It's been really nice actually having a bit of company going down. So we're going to get set and get going. So there's Fig Foz. From what little we saw of it, it did seem like a lovely little place. We had 2 nights. We got in fairly late 2 nights ago. Say fairly late, about 7ish. But by the time we got the boat ready, calmed down a little bit from the Orca attack, we just went for some food, a couple of beers, and then that was it. And then the next day it was a laundry, sorting the boats out, getting ready, and then early night last night really. Back at the boat, we went for a pizza and then back at the boat. So yeah, I'm just watching Keith precariously doing things on his little boat, swaying around. I really do love that boat. It's such a cool little boat. Yeah, so I didn't film much because we didn't see much, unfortunately. The plan was and always has been to get down south as quick as we can. So Peniche is, like I said, the next stop unless Nazaré calls us before. Hopefully there's no incidences today. I never know when to keep my mouth shut. On my last episode you would have heard me say, yeah, it's probably nothing, and then next thing I had dolphins, which was amazing, and then a very big black dolphin that decided to headbutt my rudder multiple times. But anyway, let's hope today's uneventful. Not so good for the YouTube channel, but good for my nerves. Literally 2 minutes ago I said hopefully it's not an eventful day, and the engine started spluttering. I thought I'd go and check on things. I've got diesel leaking from that fitting. So if diesel's coming out, air could be getting in, so I'm gonna have to go back into Fig Foz. Brilliant. It's been one thing after another with this boat. Like, this is supposed to be fun, exciting times. And it's been nothing but stress since I left the UK. Like, to the point where I am seriously reconsidering this whole thing. It's just really, really downheartening when things like this happen, you know. You just one thing after another. Just don't feel like I'm progressing. I'm not getting anywhere. Every time something, you know, like, yes, when even after that Orca attacked the boat. When I found out there was no damage done, I felt good, you know. I was progressing and I thought, yeah, that's fine. It is what it is, we move on down. And then this happens and I'm done. I'm absolutely done with this bloody boat. Taking the fitting off, and inside there had loads of black crud. So this was the culprit, that was the leak, if you can see that there. So I've taken it off, cleaned all the threads. Looks like it was PTFE on there, but I'm going to stick some more PTFE, get it all clean. I can still see crap in the inside. So yeah, this is where it is leaking from. Clean it up, get it back together, and then try again. Okay, so we took that connector off and there was a lot of rubbish in there, a lot of black, a lot of diesel bug. We've given it a clean, put some Loctite on these threads, hoping that that's the correct thing. And we'll let it sit for half an hour, dry out, and then I'm going to start the engine, let that run for half an hour while I treat Keith to loads of cups of coffees. And then we go from there. It leaked, of course it leaked. So it's back off. Taking the Loctite off that it had sealed and re-cleaned the thread of the fitting. But Keith just pulled the olive off. I wouldn't have thought that that would come off so easy. So we're going to go up in town. It's Sunday, everything's shut, but hopefully the hardware store's open. Grab another one of these olives and then compress it again.
You know the guy.
So as you guys know, I've had a bit of a dodgy couple of days. I had the Orca attack. Today I went to leave the marina and it really has put a downer on this whole trip. I've honestly thought about selling the boat. But I was told that these big problems are overshadowed by good times. And right now, I'm not gonna lie, I've met a couple. I've got Andrew and Maria on the boat. Say hi, guys.
Hi. Hi.
What's the name of your boat?
Offset.
So these guys are from Sweden. Obviously you've met Keith. And we're having a few little gins and it has totally wiped away the bad times. And I'm so pleased. So for these guys to come on board and have some gins, it's sort of put it back to zero and I'm ready to move on, because this morning I was just not happy. So guys, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Salute to you guys. As the night went on, we picked up more people from boats around us. We had such a good night, but YouTube have got a copyright, so I can't let you hear the music we was playing, but trust me, it was such a good night. Unfortunately, things have to get back to business in the morning. So if this isn't my luck, I don't know what is. As I showed you, there was a fitting. Don't know if you can see, so just on that pipe there, it was just a little compression fitting which probably cost about 10 cents, you know, 20p, something like that. And then there was the fitting that went into the end there, which then went onto the compression fitting. Well, the guy seems to think it's not the compression fitting, it's the actual threaded fitting. Probably cost about €3, but obviously there isn't any in this town. So he's now got to drive 40 kilometers to go and get this fitting and the compression fitting, which is going to cost me about €50. So for the sake of a like 10p piece of equipment, it's going to cost me €50. Brilliant. So this is take 2, Fig Foz to Peniche. Fingers crossed nothing happens. This is how sailing should be. I had the motor just to come out of the harbour, both sails up, full sails, and I'm doing about 5.5 knots, 6 knots. I think I've got a bit of tide with me. I've only got 8 knots of wind, so there's definitely a bit of tide there, but this is what I bought a sailboat for, to sail. All I seem to be doing is motoring, so I'm happy. Got to keep an eye out for fishing gear though, there's quite a lot out here. It was fun while it lasted, engine's back on, wind dropped down to about 6 knots, but it's due to pick up later today. Can't really show you too much of coastline, etc., because it's very industrial where I am at the moment. So that's that. As you probably noticed, I am sailing fairly close to shore. I'm in 12 meters of water. There's a very good reason for that, as you all well know, and that reason is black and white with big teeth and likes tuna fish and rudders. So I think I just hug the coast. It's probably going to add a bit of time onto the trip to get around to Peniche, but I need to get down to near Nazaré. There's no swell, so I mean, if any of you know Nazaré, it's a big surf spot. When I say big surf spot, I mean big. It gets massive. Someone's got the world record. Garrett McNamara's got the world record for the biggest wave surf there. I've been there in the motorhome. It was a beautiful little village. There is a marina there, but we're, you know, the plan is, as long as everything's going okay, the plan is to go past it. But I've always wanted to see land perspective from at sea, you know, what these surfers actually see, you know, because most people will just be stood on the cliff at the lighthouse looking out. So to actually sail around the area these surfers are sat picking up these waves, it's going to be incredible. I'm really looking forward to it. Again, as long as there's no big swell coming, which there isn't. It's very flat today, but I don't know what it's going to look like. You know, ordinarily I'd be out past it to come around to the island of Peniche, but I don't want to go any deeper today. I've had enough of them big fish. Hopefully you can hear me over the engine. I'm going to show you what my original plan was. So we left Figfos, and you can see my passage plan was to stay shallow around 13-14 meters. Didn't want to go any deeper than 20, all the way down to get to Nazaré, and then probably cut the corner a little bit to come around into Peniche. But this is going to take me about an extra 45 minutes onto the passage. So I've just about 20 minutes ago took a position and then took a new bearing straight to Peniche to cut this corner. It's coming a lot deeper. I mean, you could see the Nazaré gully. This is what creates the renowned massive waves. This deep bit of water jacked up. It's like an underwater canyon. So yeah, I'm going to sort of cut across the start of that. Unfortunately, I might be too far away to see the iconic Nazaré lighthouse. However, it's going to save me a bit of time to get into the anchorage, so that's what I'm going to do. Right now, as you can see, I'm just approaching. So this is the underwater canyon that creates those massive waves. When you get a swell coming in off the Atlantic, channels through this underwater canyon and then just jacks up to create some of the biggest waves in the world. And I'm not far off, so that's the village of Nazaré, just off to my port side. Unfortunately, I don't think you'd be able to see it in the GoPro, but I just looked through the binoculars and I could just make out the lighthouse and the point that I've stood on, looking out here, watching these guys ride the monsters. So this is a surfer. This is a pretty iconic moment for me, just to be in the same waters as these guys have surfed. Obviously they're a lot closer in than this here. Unfortunately, like I say, I cut the corner. I would have been a lot closer. However, to look at Nazaré from the sea, not a lot of people that do that, not a lot of surfers. I just definitely wouldn't want to be here when that swells around. But pretty cool moment. This is what I bought a sailing boat for. Sailing. I mean, I've got 10 knots of wind. I'm doing 6.5 knots. It's following seas. It's peaceful. I don't want to speak too soon, but this is what I love. This is the bit that's really nice. And going into an anchorage is a lot less nerve-wracking than going into marinas as well. Obviously, you know, you've got other boats right next to you, and tides trying to push you into those boats and all the rest of it. So it's just I'm a little bit more at ease when I get to my destination, because I've just got to find a spot and put my anchor down. So yeah, it was the 7 hours at the start of this with the engine on wasn't the best, but we got there in the end, eh? Bit of wind. Just come inside Peniche Harbour. Here's the harbour. That's the anchorage. It's actually moorings, but people anchor between the moorings. But there's a lot of fishing vessels in and out, and I read on Navily, that app that I use for anchorages and marinas, that you can be disturbed quite a bit with fishermen in and out really quick. On the outside of this breakwater, I did see a boat at anchor, and it will be protected from these northerlies. I think we've got some northwesterlies, mainly north. So it's going to be sheltered. So I'm going to go drop the hook down there, sit there for half an hour, see what happens, at which point I can actually spot Keith coming in on a quiller, direct him over towards me, and we can anchor up together, have an anchor beer. Anchor is set. I've been looking forward to doing this all day. Oh, I made it. No killer whales, which was great. I think today was successful. It's kind of given me a little bit more confidence back in the boat and the sailing and all the rest of it. I think tomorrow's a pretty windy day, so I can get down to Cascais, which is right next to Lisbon. I wanted to spend a couple of days here. I've surfed that beach before, Walla Leicester. I've camped just at the back of that beach actually, but because of the oh no, I've just see this swell, the fishing boat just went through, so I've got that to look forward to all night. Oh well, if I'm tired I'll sleep. But yes, I'm happy. Like I was saying, I wanted to spend a couple of days here to get some surfing, but because I was held up for a few days unexpectedly Fig Foz, I am just going to head south. I've got a flight booked to go home for my dad's wedding, so I've got a week and I'm going to be home. I cannot wait for that. It'd be nice to see people. As usual, thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Join me next time where I leave Peniche to carry on my journey down to south. I will take you through the steps that I do to make my own water on board, and then test it to make sure it's drinkable before I put it in my tanks. I hit my first acceleration zone where I see winds of 35 knots and get about 9 knot boat speed. It was pretty crazy. Get into the beautiful anchorage of Cascais, and I will tell you some more bad luck that seems to happen to me all the time. If you are enjoying these little episodes I'm putting up, then please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. You really support the channel. Quite a lot goes into doing these and putting them out there for you. Thanks again, guys, and I'll see you soon.